Now we have Dr. Daina Ramey Berry, scholar of the enslaved and Black women's history, joining us now with more on the history of Juneteenth. Dr. Berry, thank you for being with us this morning. Let's talk about what Juneteenth represents, not only for the Black community, but its overall significance in America's history as well.
Well, Juneteenth really is a holiday that recognizes freedom. It recognizes the freedom of African Americans in the aftermath of slavery. And I think one of the things that we're trying to emphasize now as it's become a federal holiday in 2021 is that this was a holiday that celebrated the freedom of African Americans and the independence and the opportunities for African Americans to participate in citizenship in the aftermath of slavery.
So you just mentioned that this becomes this holiday in 2021 when President Biden signed this declaration and therefore a federal holiday. But as we talked about, there's still kind of some disparities across the country in terms of how it's recognized. That came a year after George Floyd died from police brutality. At that time, Black Lives Matter has sparked a movement that many historians say, I mean, we really haven't seen similar scale since the civil rights era. How do you think those events help to reignite these calls for change? And then also put in the context of all of that going on, the fact that finally Juneteenth becomes this federal holiday.
Absolutely. Juneteenth, there were people that were fighting for this to become a holiday all the way back to the 1970s. And we know this. It became a holiday, a state holiday in Texas in 1980. But African Americans and those that were formerly enslaved fought and celebrated Juneteenth as early as 1866. But I do think you're right. George Floyd was a significant turning point. The death of George Floyd, to see that an African American could be choked to death in broad daylight by an officer, was something that really changed the way people thought about African American freedom. And they saw for themselves that African Americans are still struggling to define themselves as human beings and also to be considered citizens of the United States.
You wrote an article in The Atlantic called The Truth About Freedom, and in it you discussed the history of Black self-liberation, those who were enslaved, escaping their bondage and claiming their own freedom by fleeing, suing, or other means. Why is self-liberation an important part of our Juneteenth commemoration, and how does it draw parallels to the fight for equality that the Black community is still facing today?
I think the idea of self-liberation that happened prior to 1863's Emancipation Proclamation, prior to the end of the Civil War, prior to Juneteenth, and prior to the 13th Amendment becoming ratified on December 6th of 1865, is very important because it shows that African Americans found ways to become free, to sue for their freedom, to purchase their freedom, to literally escape and self-liberate themselves by going to free territories, is an important aspect of us understanding American history and the quest for the inherent role that freedom plays in all of our lives. We also find that African Americans are still finding ways, just like the recent Supreme Court decision in Alabama about redistricting and voting rights, right? We know that voting is a major way that African Americans and any citizen in this country expresses their freedom and their participation in our government. And those are the same kinds of things that we're fighting for today.
Dr. Berry, while you're talking about self-liberation and people who had the strength and the courage to do this even before 1863 or 1865, remind us, just while we have you, as a historian, as a scholar, on those years, or the reason that this is the particular date that is Juneteenth, that is this celebration of freedom, it was because for years there were people in the United States who did not know that this was true for them. Walk us through kind of just those 2 years and what this day actually was, what happened on Juneteenth.
Many enslaved people in Texas said that they didn't know they had been free until they heard somebody say, quote, make a proclamation. They heard General Order Number 3 that was brought to their plantation communities. They heard from their uncles, from their cousins, from other Union officers that came to tell them that slavery was over. June 19th marked that day for those that were enslaved in Texas. It wasn't ratified, as I mentioned, the 13th Amendment wasn't ratified until December. But to find out that you're free, some enslaved people literally walked off and left their plantation communities. Others went to find new houses. Others solidified their marriages. Some of them went to get an education. But the idea that freedom had come in their lifetime was something that they had thought about and fought for every single day that they were living before that.
So important to learn that history. Dr. Daina Ramey Berry, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.